Pass me a real deal. 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 Hey guys, so tonight on Last Meal Real Deal, we're going to be talking about Bobby Joe Long, also known as the classified rapist. And his last meal was roast beef, bacon, french fries, and soda. So tonight I'm going to be showing you how I make roast beef. I'm going to fry some french fries, cook up some bacon, drink a little soda, maybe throw some liquor in there for us. And I'm going to add a gravy, show you how to make a little gravy for the roast beef, because roast beef without gravy is okay, but like we want to take things up a level. So let's get to it. Okay, so what you're gonna need for the roast beef, you're gonna need the ingredients that you see before you. You got your olive oil, your red wine vinegar, sea salt, pepper, parsley, minced onion, oregano. I use Merlot salt, tarragon, thyme, minced garlic, crushed red pepper, and I have a garlic and pepper salt grinder that I also use. What I do is I take the olive oil and the vinegar and I make a little marinade out of them, and then I eat in the measuring cup, and then I pour that over the roast beef. So what you want to do when you're preparing to make roast beef is you're going to go to the store and you're going to look for a bigger, tougher cut of meat. Tonight I'm actually using Angus top roast, but you can use chuck bottom roast, what have you. Just it'll be a tougher cut of meat that can stand a low, slow cook time. Use your Googles. Marinade all at once. Get your olive oil. And as you notice, I don't use exact measurements. Like, go with the flow. Red wine vinegar. That looks about right. Minced garlic. This is dry minced onion. Black pepper. Garlic peppercorn. Of course, sea salt. Merlot salt. I'm going to come in with my herbs. Dry parsley. Dry oregano. Thyme. Tarragon. Last but not least, crushed red pepper. Pour your marinade all over your roast. Just like that. Turn it, rub it into the meat. Make sure it is all over, just everything. Really get in there, you know? Don't be shy. Don't be shy with the meat. Okay. And we're gonna let it sit in there. If you want to, you can poke holes in it with a fork to let the marinade really seep in. But as such, we're gonna let this rest for a good half hour to an hour at least. At least 2 hours would be better. Overnight, even better. You know, we just want that marinade to really soak in to the meat. Then you're gonna put it in a roasting pan, and we're gonna start it at 450 to get it a good little crust on the outside. And we're gonna take the temperature down to 350 and cook it for about an hour or hour to 2 hours. Check with your meat thermometer your level of doneness. So if you want it a little bit more rare, check it up after an hour at 130. Then you're gonna take it out. Let it rest with a little foil over it. Let the meat rest, or else your juices are gonna run right out of the meat and it'll be dry. What you want to do is make sure it cooks, let it rest, then slice into it. I'll show you that later. We're gonna put this in the oven now. A little thing that I like to do, I have kind of a large family, and sometimes you just want to make a large amount of bacon at one time. What I do is I put all of the bacon on a sheet pan and just throw it in the oven, so while everything else is cooking, the bacon is cooking. You're going to want to keep it in there until your desired doneness, maybe for 12 to 15 minutes. And just pull it out. It cooks evenly all around, and yeah, great time saver. So you're going to put the bacon in at 350 degrees. For 12 minutes, 20 tops. In a seasoned flour mixture, so they get the perfect amount of crisp on the outside. So we're starting with all-purpose flour. I'm gonna add some smoked paprika and a lot of Tony Chachere's. Yeah, a lot for the amount of flour. Seems like a lot, but we're just gonna mix it in. So. We're just gonna toss our sliced potatoes in this flour mixture. Now, while I'm doing this, I've got vegetable oil. You can use any type of oil, really. Heating up at high on a medium heat. So we're gonna do a double fry on these. So, shake off the excess. And they're ready to go in the hot oil. The way you checked, you drop some flour into it, it sizzles. So we're gonna go ahead and drop our fries for the first fry. Stand back. Stand back. Okay, the first batch. We're gonna try not to overcrowd the pan. First fry on medium heat, just to get the fries cooked through. And then we're going to take them out and then let them cool a little bit and then turn the heat up, and then we're going to crisp the outside. So this first fry is just, you know, then that second fry is just going to be a couple of seconds. Okay. And you'll know that the french fries are starting to cook or starting to be cooked through when they start to float. Make a little bit of a gravy. So right now in this little simmer pot, I've got the bacon grease from when we cooked the bacon earlier, and I'm going to throw in a heaping tablespoon of flour or cornstarch if that's what you prefer. So you can see no lumps. And then when it starts to come to a boil, I'm going to add some beef broth to that. Add more beef broth. You do that to your liking. We've got a smooth bacon and beef gravy to go with our roast beef. Take these fries out of their second fry. Now they're all crispy. There you have it. Roast beef, fries, bacon, and a little gravy that I added just as gravy. Our guest tonight is one and only Malik, aka cameraman extraordinaire, producer extraordinaire. Okay, so Malik, I made you this dinner tonight. Roast beef, French fries, and bacon, and the last addition to this meal is soda. So we're gonna crack these open. No. Oh, cheers!
Cheers.
Cheers!
Looks lovely.
Yeah. Thank you. You know, I'll be cooking. So while we eat this meal, I'm gonna tell you a story about a man named Bobby Joe Long.
Okay.
Okay. Oh. Right? That's good. Today I'm going to tell you about Bobby Joe Long and how we terrorized the Tampa Bay area in the mid-80s. Okay, so a little backstory. Bobby Joe Long, aka the classified ad rapist.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, okay. In October of 1953, in Canova, West Virginia.
Okay. Ooh, West Virginia.
Right?
Sorry to anybody who lives in West Virginia.
You're not wrong. Because it gets very West Virginia. Sorry to... Anyways, he was born Robert Joseph Long, but everybody called him Bobby Joe. Bobby Joe Long. He had a strange childhood. He suffered multiple head injuries, which, as a lot of true crime lovers know, that is in the backstory of many, many a serial
There's a
killer.
correlation.
Yeah, there has to be. So many head injuries as a child, but he also shared a bed with his mother until he was a teenager.
Oh. That's peculiar.
Yeah. Just very, yeah. Yeah, so he shared a bed with his mother. He married his high school girlfriend in 1974, and they had 2 kids before she filed for divorce in 1980. Okay, so...
Marriage isn't what it used to be.
So that's kind of his backstory. West Virginia, stayed in his mom's bed, went for uncomfortably long, and had just anger towards his mom's long string of short-term boyfriends. So it's just some...
This is just the beginning.
Just some West Virginia stuff going on over there. Okay, so before he started his string of murders that would lead to his capture and conviction in Tampa, he committed at least 50 rapes under he committed at least 50 rapes as the classified ad killer. So what he would do is when he moved to Tampa, he would answer ads in the classifieds for small appliances, and then he would go, and if he found a woman alone, he would assault her. He did that in Fort Lauderdale, Ocala, Miami, and Dade County. Before he moved to Florida, he lived in Long Beach, California, and he would do the same thing. He would answer a classified ad in the Penny Saver or what have you, and then he would, if he found a woman alone, he would ask to go to the bathroom. He would open up his rape kit, and he had a kit. Oh God, they all have kits. They're so
It's
prepared
terrible.
to just be heinous. But yeah, he would open up his rape kit
Mhm.
and then brutally assault and beat like these women and rob them. So he did that in California too. But unfortunately, by the time he was captured, all of his crimes in California, the statute of limitations had run out.
Oh, of course.
Of course. So, anyways, Bobby Joe Long moved to Tampa Bay area in 1983. His first victim was discovered in May 1984. This began an investigation into the abduction, rape, and murder of at least 10 women in 3 counties in the Tampa Bay area. Okay, so they would find bodies they would find these bodies typically like decomposed, so it was long after their murders. So what he would do is he would leave them in abandoned areas, like rural areas, and he would pose them or display them. So he would put their bodies in unnatural positions, so whoever found them, like, it's called display.
Right.
A lot of them do that, like where they'll, I don't know, like they'll display these bodies.
It's
for
almost like they
whoever.
want them to be found.
Yes,
and to be
but
viewed as well.
yes, and they want it to be shocking, and they want to make some sort of statement when these bodies are found.
It's a terrible statement to make.
Yeah. So yeah, they would be found in the woods and like rural areas. So his MO was he would drive around in his 1978 Dodge Magnum, looking for victims in areas that were well known like corners for sex workers to walk around, or bars that single women might be in, and he would convince them to get in his car, come back to his apartment. He would then torture and kill them using different methods. Some of them he strangled to death. Some of them he beat to death. Like, this whole thing. And then he would transport their bodies to the rural area and arrange their bodies in a display for them to be found. So Bobby Joe Long abducted, assaulted, and murdered at least 10 women that we know of in the Tampa Bay area.
And that's just Tampa Bay.
Yes.
And he was doing this in California.
He was, and they tend to escalate too. So
That's crazy.
I'm sure there's a lot of cold cases out there.
Mm.
Maybe, I don't know. Who knows? He's a real sicko. But at least 10 women within an 8-month period in Tampa Bay. So this was just like May to November.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
He's sick.
So yeah. So one of his last victims was named Lisa McVeigh. And she was 17. So he abducted her and he held her and assaulted her for 26 hours. But then let her go. So she leaves, she gets out of that situation, and she goes to the police, because boss. And her information, because they have kind of been tracking this guy, but they just haven't been able to find him. They have his DNA, they have fragments from victim's body, like fibers from his car.
Right.
Found on victims' bodies. So
They've just been having a hard time trying
they
to
haven't been
pinpoint.
able to like track him down, but she gives them information that leads them to him, to Bobby Joe Long, and they find him. So Lisa is able to lead the police to Bobby Joe Long, and at the time of his capture, like when they finally caught up with him, he's wanted in like a couple jurisdictions. Based on physical evidence, like hair, fibers, like I said. So like they're like looking for this guy. He is arrested outside of a movie theater on November 16th, 1984.
Right.
and charged with the kidnapping and assault of Lisa McVeigh. He confessed to this. Like, he confessed once they got him in there. And then, like, they start to interrogate him about other things, and he's just like...
He's like, I may have killed him.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. He's a whole weirdo. So anyways, so he confesses to his crimes against Lisa McVeigh.
Right.
And after further interrogation, he confesses to crimes against 8 other women. Yeah, and the bodies that they have found displayed and decomposed. Yeah, it was him.
That is terrible.
Okay, so he confessed to 9 other murders as well. He pled guilty on September 24th, 1985 to these crimes. He received 26 life sentences without the possibility of parole. We love to hear it. And 7 life sentences with the possibility of parole. That's just time on time. And
you think about some of these cases, like some people don't get put in jail at all.
Absolutely facts. Because actually, he was on probation for assault before any of these murders even started. He was able to do just a whole lot. But anyways, the state also retained the option to seek the death penalty for one of his murder victims, Michelle Sims, and then that went to trial that lasted a week, and they got it. He got the death penalty for this case. He was found guilty and sentenced to die by electric chair in Florida. He appealed and appealed like over the years. Just appealing, just dragging people through. He's just prolonging it, right? But that's kind of how death row works. You sit on death row, but you appeal and you appeal. Yeah. But his conviction stuck. And on April 23rd, 2019, last year...
Whoa! Wait a minute. 2019?
Governor Ron DeSantis signed his death certificate.
I thought this was like in the 90s or something.
It was! So decades after his initial conviction and crimes, his death warrant was signed, and he was executed by lethal injection on May 23rd, 2019, just last year.
Let's go!
Yes!
He didn't need to be walking around.
30 years, yes, 30 years after his conviction.
30 years.
Can you imagine? But on that day, on May 23rd, he requested his final meal of roast beef, bacon, french fries, and soda. And he ate it at 9:30 with his family. And then at 6:55 p.m., he was pronounced dead, and he had no last words. And that is the story of the classified ad rapist, Bobby Joe Long. So this was his last meal. Clearly, you enjoyed it.
Yes.
And that was the real deal. So, cheers.
Tap tap.
Tap, tap.
Oh,
Tap tap.
Pass me a